Hello everyone and welcome back to another exciting episode of 8 Dead Giants. I am excited to be back, happy to be back. It's a hot day of recording here. What can I say? Rain, shine, sun, blizzard. We're bringing you 8 Dead Giants. So, though, ironically, we did skip a week recently. So, that's just me being lazy. But I am joined today by one of my quintessential giants. A giant in my heart. Rob.
I don't think I've been described as quintessential before.
Did I use the word correctly? I think I did. You are a quintessential giant.
Yeah. It's very, very nice. I've never had that descriptor before. So yeah.
So I'm glad to have opened up your world of quintessentialness.
It's going to be an interesting journey, I'm sure.
Talking of journeys, recently you were down south.
Yes, I decided to brave going past the M25 and went and saw a friend down in Southampton. He and his wife are having a baby reasonably soon, so we wanted to see each other again before the sprog arrives. So yeah, it was lovely.
So it was raging, drinking, just staying out till 4 a.m, clubbing. What are we talking here?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Definitely not board game and Chinese, walking around the city centre and chilling and chatting. Definitely the raging till 4 a.m.
I know you well. I know it's what you like. Remember, right? You keep it quiet, Rob. You keep it quiet. But
some say I keep it quiet like a 9:30 bedtime. But it's
9:30 bedtime, 10 a.m. record time. That's how we roll here. Well, that sounds nice though. I like it. Obviously I grew up not in that part of the down south, but on the south coast as well. And I do miss the seaside, living up here in the middle, like we do.
Yes.
So it's always nice to get back down there and see the ocean, and enjoy the weather while you got it, I guess, because it won't be long and we'll be back into the autumn and winter and all that good jazz. I know, me too.
Oh, bring on autumn. Too damn hot. Spring and autumn are the best seasons, I swear.
Well, look, we've got loads to get through today. So, without further ado, and if you're happy, Rob, I think we're going to get into it.
Yeah, let's go.
You ready? Let's go then. Yeah. Right. Stick with us. We're going to be back with some chat very soon. Games Talk. It was Gamescom, Rob, in Germany.
I definitely knew it was Gamescom. I didn't completely miss any of the publications or announcements or context for any of it until you told me it was Gamescom. I definitely knew what was going on.
I went to Gamescom once.
Did you?
Did you know that?
No.
I don't know if you know that. Back when it was still in Leipzig in Germany, before it moved to Cologne, I covered Gamescom. Do you know what game I played before release in Gamescom? In a behind closed doors demo for the press? No? Even cooler than that? Mass Effect.
Oh, yeah. No,
I sat in a room with one of the producers and one of the creative directors of Mass Effect who showed us Mass Effect 1 before it had come out.
So my leading question is, what things on the same level of Mass Effect 1 were shown at Gamescom?
Oh, crap. Okay, maybe one of them. Maybe Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. I am really hyped for that. That looks like it's going to be really good. That looks like it's going to be really, really good. So let's talk about that then. As you've segued me in there. You slipped me in.
I've never talked about... Well, I've never seen Vampire the Masquerade at all. And I foolishly did not check the trailer ahead of time for this particular game because I wasn't able to find it in the show notes. So
it's in the show notes. It's right there. I'm looking at it.
Look at your URLs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a link to Moonlighter 2 you've got there.
Oh, did I not put the right link in?
You didn't copy and paste right.
Oh, no.
So, yeah. And I just forgot to check because there was a long list of games. So I just forgot to go back and check.
That's ironic. The first one we're going to talk about is the one you haven't seen.
So explain. Okay. Talk me to it.
Yeah, this game has been in sort of development hell for freaking ages.
Boding well.
They've been talking about it for like 6-7 years. So the original Vampire Masquerade came out, like decades ago, right? It's a really old but ambitious vampire RPG in which you basically, in the original it was LA, in this new one it's Seattle, but you play a vampire and you're doing vampire-y things, and you're kind of like, there's different houses of vampires. It's got like a Blade / Underworld vibe, like that kind of big vampire society, kind of, ancient houses, living in darkness, doing all that good stuff that you see from vampire fiction. And this one has gone through multiple developers, right, that have actually been pulled off the project. And it's ended up with Chinese Room, which are most famous for walking simulators, which is a really narrative driven, but basically minimal interaction games. The last one they did was on Game Pass. You might have checked it out. I don't know. Still Wakes the Deep.
Nope.
Which was like all set on an oil rig, and there were like months, like weird, like Lovecraftian shit going on, and like they'd woken something up from drilling too deep into the earth or something of that effect. Very evocative, really hyper detailed environments. Looks great. I quite liked it. I didn't finish it. I quite liked it though. But you wouldn't know these guys hadn't really done anything beyond walking simulators, based on the trailer for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, because it looks like a fully fledged open world action RPG where you play as a vampire. First person, looks great, like cool powers, different houses to choose from, super gory and violent, sucking blood, and lots of dialogue stuff and all the good stuff you'd want from a world sort of that where you can simulate being a vampire lord. In this one you play a vampire called Nomad. So in the first one you played like a new vampire, kind of trying to get their place in the vampire hierarchy. In this one you're playing more of an ancient 300-year-old vampire who's been woken up for a reason to kind of come into the world today, and so you are still doing the whole fish out of water thing, because you've been asleep for about 100 years when they wake you up. So it's like, oh wow, things have changed. And then it's about, you can't show off your vampire powers in front of the regular humans too much, because then they'll get suspicious and they'll hunt you down, and the vampire leadership will get pissed off at you and all kinds of things like that. But then you're doing quests for the houses you align with, and it just like vampire simulator, right? Like what you'd want, like from that underworld fantasy, from that Blade fantasy, those kind of films. I'm here for that. That looks like we've not had a game like that in that kind of setting in a long time. So yeah, bring it on. Bring it on.
It sounds interesting, at least.
Yeah, and it looks good. The action and the visuals look really nice and things like that. You wouldn't know that because I didn't send you the link.
That's fine. I will.
But that's
have to remember to look it up.
But that's probably my biggest sort of shout out from Gamescom. So what we've got here is a whole bunch of links to trailers that I've shared with Rob, and I'll put the links in the show notes as well, so you can check them out as we discuss them. It's not everything; it's the stuff that caught my eye, and then Rob's gone through that, and he's also got some highlights, and we're kind of going to just run through the list now, if that's all right with you, Rob.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
Did you check out COD Blops 7?
I did. The last 3 seconds of the trailer were the most interesting bit. Zombies.
What? Oh, I hate the zombie stuff in Call of Duty.
It's the only thing in Call of Duty I bother with.
I hate it.
It's the rest of COD that I dislike.
I find it so boring.
This one's just Peter Petrelli doing non-superhero stuff.
Peter Petrelli,
because it's Milo Ventimiglia, I believe is.
Yeah,
his,
well done. I wasn't even going to try. Good on you for going for it.
Who is playing the main titular character, and
how is it? Hold on. How is he a titular character when the title is Call of Duty Black Ops 7?
Because look, famous face. The Marine is now something you give a shit about.
No, titular character would be the title.
He's going to be the protagonisty person that we're going to care about. He is the Black Ops 7 person.
He's Coblops.
Yeah, he's on the cover. He's maybe not titular character, the covula character then.
Covula, I like that. Covula.
Yeah, the character that we're meant to be drawn to go, oh, I like him, and then plug and play.
He's done famous things.
Yeah, exactly. So I just don't care. I was hyped for the first trailer at the Xbox reveal for this game until it was Call of Duty. The second it was COD, my enthusiasm died, which was unfortunate.
This is an interesting one for me because there's a few things here that are strange, which is we had Call of Duty Black Ops 6 last year. Now, this is the first time Call of Duty has ever gone straight into another numbered sequel in the same sort of internal franchise. So they've got Modern Warfare, they've got all the other, World at War. They had all kinds of different ones over the years that the different studios are focused on, and this is the first time that they've gone from a Blops 6 to a Blops 7. COD Blops 6 is actually really good. So the multiplayer has gone in some poor directions with like the over Fortnitification of it, but the actual campaign is one of the best Call of Duty campaigns I've played in a really, really long time. It's like 90s set spy action thriller. So while this is another Call of Duty Black Ops, it's a very different direction. So we're going near future. We're going like AI tech world,
it's only 10 years away.
It seems like quite a jump for 10 years, doesn't it? But the whole game's campaign seems to be set inside of a simulation, inside of some kind of VR world, which is why the worlds look all Inception-y, and they're traveling all over the world from like level to level. It's basically like saying, we're going to make this game interesting. Here's a really thin narrative reason as to why our settings are disparate and not connected.
I have a different theory behind that. I think that the mind-bendy levels that actually look curious are going to be like 2 levels because it was in some sort of drugged-up hallucination, because you see the character get gassed and then mind-bend stuff happens. So I reckon it's going to be like 2, maybe 3 levels, and then you're just going to go, oh, they're now in Madripoor. Oh, no, they're now in Paris. And you have to go around and be shuttled into different locations. I think we're giving Call of Duty too much of a optimistic slant there.
They're doing. I mean, they're doing a campaign which is entirely playable in 4-player co-op, which is not something they've done before as well. Which is an interesting move. I for me, it's going to be on Game Pass, right? So I'll probably give it a shot. Like, why not? For the campaign, they haven't had a named actor in a lead role in this in a little while, so that's a move back to that. I think that I'm trying to remember if they did it since they did it with Kevin Spacey. I can't remember if they did, and obviously that was like, oh, maybe let's not do that again. So yeah, I'm always curious about Call of Duty because they've got some real competition this year with Battlefield 6, which has got a huge buzz around that beta and how well it's been received, and it's obviously going for a very grounded, boots on the ground, modern setting, and this is obviously going into a futuristic setting, which historically has not done well for Call of Duty. The future games are the ones where they've really not got the player base when people are disengaged with it most. Even though I think Infinite Warfare, which was Earth versus Mars, was one of the coolest Call of Duty campaigns they've ever done. It was so fucking cool. That
Call of Duty Earth versus Mars. It
was so good, Rob. If you've not played Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, it's sci-fi, proper full-on sci-fi. It kind of felt like The Expanse, but as a video game. It was really, really, really good. Infinite Warfare. Like, I've gone back and played that campaign multiple times. It's that good. But yeah, I'm kind of interested because of the sci-fi stuff, because of the VR stuff, because of what the kind of prescient AI stuff that they're dealing with.
I really don't think it's VR. Nothing in that trailer gave me VR. You see them get drugged with a gas.
But it could be a bit of both, right? Drugged and then they're put in a fancy VR machine. Who knows?
I'm just excited. There is a Zombies mode coming back because I love the Zombies mode. It is possibly a game mode that I've played the most across all of games ever that require alternate game modes or offer alternate game modes. The entire concept of the wave-based firefight survive is just fantastic, where the end of World at War you get dropped into a survive and there's no hint to this at all, and that shock is just fantastic and I love it to bits. I have played with friends for years. I will continue to play with friends, and yes, I just love Zombies mode. So yeah, for me, that's the winner. I will wait to see more.
Okay, man. Yeah, let's move on. I mean, how do you feel about Lego games?
I used to like Lego games. They were fun. It was nice having the Lego characterization of them holding up the Luke, I am your father concept being done by Darth Vader holding up a picture and pointing with his crescent hand going, it was nice not having them voice acted, and now they're voice acted, and it's just why do we need another Lego Batman game? We've had Lego Batman games. I've played Lego Batman games. The only good thing for this is Matt Berry is Bane.
That's good casting.
That's a very good casting.
I quite like
just a good casting. Full
So
stop.
this is Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, which the concept here is this big Lego open world Batman game, which is going to take you right from origin through to full-fledged Dark Knight, like a full kind of chronological storytelling of the Batman, hitting his biggest beats from various, the
Movies.
comics, the movies, you name it, and kind of trying to bring it all together into one Lego property, which sounds like quite the challenge actually. But if they can really pull that off, that's kind of got me interested, right? And I'm not the biggest Lego gamer, but I think as a concept, that's ambitious. It's been a hot minute since they put out one of these sort of like Lego licensed games from Traveller's Tales. So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. We'll go with that.
I think you're more optimistic than I am about it.
Yeah, I think like I said, I'm not got a hugely like nostalgic connection to Lego. Like I quite like Lego when I was a kid, but I've not someone that builds or collects it as an adult. But I'm more interested in them trying to tell this cohesive comedic story through the whole of Batman's, entire life. I think
you're talking to a hardcore Lego collector. You actually haven't seen inside my house in a while, but yeah, I have a wall of Lego. My partner and we spend a lot of time assembling Lego together. I've got Lego Rivendell, for example, Lego Gringotts. We have a Hogwarts in 2 different scales. Like, we have a lot of Lego. So, yeah, no, I'm very much the Lego fan. But I don't know. If it's on Game Pass, I'll give it a punt. Eventually, it'll go onto Game Pass because most other Lego games end up there.
It's true. It's true. What's next on the list? Death by Scrolling. Did you watch the trailer for this? Did you like the look of this?
I did indeed. I watched the trailer for everything else except Vampire the Masquerade.
Ah.
Yeah. It gave me the vibes of Vampire Survivor. Like, it's a typical roguelike with a gimmick. So yeah, it looked fun.
I thought because it's Ron Gilbert, right, who is like a legendary game designer from forever. He's been making games for many decades.
Yes, I know that name.
I don't think I'd have been as excited by this if I hadn't seen that name attached to this project. So the idea is that it's kind of like a Zelda 8 or 16-bit sort of hack and slash RPG, but the screen is always scrolling. So you kind of have to stay in the active playfield, otherwise you're going to get killed by the Reaper that will show up, which I think is like, I can see that working really well on like mobile or on one of the handheld gaming devices or something like that as a like a bite-sized game. I think that will be a lot of fun. It's got a really nice style, and I like that hook, that gimmick works for me. That's a strong concept. Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. It was fine. I will look for that on Game Pass. So yeah, it was fine.
Did you play Moonlighter 1?
Nope.
You didn't play Moonlighter.
It looked like a Shopkeeper Hades to me.
It's the loop in Moonlighter. This is because Moonlighter 2's trailer was showing Moonlighter 2: The Endless Vault by Digital Sun and published by 11-Bit Studios, to give the full credit. The loop of that game is you own a shop and you need to get things to sell in the shop. So you have to run through dungeons to collect various items to then sell in your shop. So you kind of have a shop management bit, and then you have like an action RPG, well, maybe action RPG, I don't know if I'd be that generous, but like an action hack and slash game play to actually acquire stuff in the dungeons. And it's just a really tidy little loop. I know our other giant that comes on the show a lot, Matt, was a big fan of the Moonlighter game, so he's probably quite excited about a Moonlighter 2. But it's a charming looking trailer, with charming looking art style. I wasn't seeing like a lot in that trailer that conveyed to me what was different about the sequel compared to the original. But at the same time, the original is made, it's a very tight little game, made really, really well. It's coming out in early access, I think, in October. So yeah, I think it'll be worth checking out, see what the reviews are like, seeing what people say about it. But I'm kind of curious, not super excited, but curious. Yeah. Yeah, and then those were the kind of the big things for me from Opening Night Live. They had some bigger games in Opening Night Live. Don't get me wrong. They also had Silent Hill was shown. The new one. They showed the new stuff from from the new Resident Evil Requiem. But it was all stuff like games we already knew about, games I'd already seen stuff about. And they didn't really give away a great deal more about any of the big IP that they showed off at Opening Night Live. So that's why I've not like included a lot more of that. But then there was also FGS, which is the Future Game Show, which is kind of like you'd think of it more like this is where we're going to show off trailers from more of the indie games. But they did still have some big stuff in this one as well. But most of what we've made a note of are more indie stuff. So why don't you hit us up, Rob, with some of your favourite looking ones from that?
So I quite liked Catanaut. Which looks like a sci-fi samurai action slasher in kind of the vein of Hotline Miami, where you look, I may be misinterpreting, but you look quite fragile and you have to deal out the damage. There's lots of weapons to choose from, lots of abilities to choose from. It looks fun, it looks fast-paced, it looks visceral. Reminds me of Binding of Isaac and Hades, because it looks like there's a level of upgrade as you go through, and there's a cat in it you can pet, so solid win from me. I'm excited for that game. I will probably get it on Steam.
A fast-paced action roguelike blending fluid combat and cosmic horror.
Yes, the enemies look very fun in that one.
They do. I'm watching the trailer right now. It's got a great look to it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that whole kind of, it feels like Metroidvania. Lovely 2D art style, really, really visceral, horrible, really disturbing looking enemies actually, like really disturbing. Kind of like Dead Spacey, like reminding me of those kind of the necromorphs. Look, that looks cool as hell. Yeah. One of the games that, like, I guess I'm always drawing attention to it because for the longest time we thought we were never going to see it, which is Pragmata, which I think got announced for like PlayStation and Sony or something like that, like 7 or 8 years ago, like a trailer for it, like a really long time ago, and then it just disappeared. And it showed up again earlier this year at one of Keeley's other things, and now it's back at this, and they're actually starting to show off the kind of the gameplay and the visuals of it. And it's hard to describe because it feels both sci-fi, futuristic, but also like quintessentially Japanese. Like it's got that, the character models look extremely Japanese. The gameplay has got that kind of, I don't know, it reminds me of like something like Kojima or something like that would have done in terms like Death Stranding style, you know, like really hyper realistic models, but these very interesting like little gameplay loops, which is this combination of like combat and puzzles, and you have this little girl with you who's like rides on your shoulder. It's so strange, but it looks lovely. It looks amazing.
It looks lovely, but it feels like Escort Mission, the sci-fi game, because she's just sat on your back hacking things as you go through the game. Like she'll hack an enemy to reveal its weak points, so you then shoot the weak points. So it's just, I just don't know. I'm conflicted. I had never heard of Pragmata before this morning, when we recorded. So yeah, I'm not especially hyped for that one.
I think it's going to be one of those games that will be like loved by a few, but might not connect with most. Just because it's got like that like you said, that escort, hack and then combat and it does look, the visuals are just mad. Like there's so much going on the screen, like all at once. So you got to be hacking and shooting and dealing with incoming attacks all at the same time. I mean, that it'd be really curious to see how that actually feels to play, because if it's like just too much, it's not going to be fun, is it? So. Yeah, very curious looking one, that. What's next? What do you want to pull up one of yours?
Yes. I quite like the look of Jump Space.
Yeah, this looked cool.
It looked like co-op Starfield, but good. Which is curious. Like it seems to be, or maybe co-op Deep Rock Galactic, maybe, but in space. I reckon it's meant to be played in co-op. They make a big thing. One of the first things you see about this game is that it's a co-op game. It seems to be a little crew of 4 spacemen or astronauts, or however they're going to phrase it in this one. You have a central ship and you go and do missions by the looks of it. Combat looks very gun-focused, very visceral. I don't know if it's going to be like an extraction concept and then you go back to the ship, or how much customizability there's going to be with the ship. But there's ship-to-ship combat, and I like ship-to-ship combat in space. So
the idea of like boarding ships
yeah,
by jumping out of yours and flying across and landing on another one just seems mad and awesome. The way it's described here is a mission-based co-op PvE for 1 to 4 players set in deep space. Early access, September 19th on Xbox and PC. So that's not far away at all. That's like a few weeks away. But mission-based co-op PvE. Okay.
I think that's one of those games where we have to play it to see. So I'm willing to give it a punt, basically. It looks engaging for me.
Yeah. Next one I'm going to pick up is really, 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 really weird looking. Did you watch the trailer? I mean, you said you did, right? Militsona?
Oh, Jesus. Okay, yeah. So, do you want to do the positive before I come in with my view?
So it's described here as a wonderfully bizarre escape sim, where you move players, being followed by a giant policeman, and I mean giant. This guy is like as big as the world, and he's just sat there watching you in this trailer, and you have to kind of like sneak around and wait for an opportune moment to do things so that you can try and escape his watchful gaze of, I believe it's probably a really subtle allegory for some kind of police state. It's super subtle, wouldn't you say?
The massive policeman watching what you do, an allegory for a police state? No, surely not. Sorry.
It says here, anger, flatter, deceive, or even romance him to escape in this Kafkaesque immersive title.
Jeez.
I love the idea of trying to romance him. That'll be curious. I'm gonna give that a go.
It's gonna be something. It looks really weird. In the trailer, the player character ends up robbing a house, and you're just being a robber brought to you by a giant sky. I put military man because I didn't understand that he was a policeman at the time, because the trailer doesn't make a good job of pointing out he's police. Just a giant sky military man who's just watching what you do the whole time, and I'm gonna dodge this one. I'm not even gonna try.
Not even gonna try.
Yeah.
Not even gonna give it a go. Not even gonna.
I'm not even gonna
suck it and see.
No.
Fair enough. Can't say I blame you. It does look weird, but I like weird. So bring on the weird. What another one from your list?
Dark Switch for me. It looked like a fun, quirky city builder.
Oh yeah, this one with the crazy tree shit. Yeah.
It looked like an interesting world. The aesthetic was really nice. The concept seems really interesting, where you're a society in a tree and you have to expand your city and build structures, defense towers, watchtowers, whatever, and develop hopefully into some level of tower defense-y type combat, which would be nice. It reminded me a little bit of Frostpunk, a touch.
Yeah.
It looks interesting. I'm curious about that one. I want to give it a go.
There seems to be, I mean, the trailer, so Dark Switch, right, a switch. Do you know what a switch is? Not a switch on the wall. Would you know what a switch is?
There are many different variations of definition of the word switch. You may need to be more specific.
I think what they're getting at here is a switch is a stick used to hit people.
Okay.
Right? So that's a switch as well. Something like back in the 1800s, you'd have got a hiding from your dad with the switch, right? Usually like a stick, like a bendy stick that would be used to
the
whip
episode
children.
of Community with Troy's grandmother springs to mind.
Oh yeah, for real. So I think they're called Dark Switch. Makes me and there's an implication that there is some kind of light coming from this tree. I don't think it's necessarily good, Jim. So I think there's going to be some kind of corruption element, and there's going to be some kind of dark, like you could see, like you said, the Frostpunk element of making the hard decisions, which result in people dying and stuff. Excitingly, there is a demo available right now on Steam.
Oh.
So it might be worth checking out the demo. But yeah, they call it a vertical city builder, and I do like I do like twists on the old city builder, the colony sims and things like that. I thought this one looked cool. I love Frostpunk. So games inspired by Frostpunk, sort of like hard moral choices, all here for that. Where there's no right answer and that only bad things happen, but it's like, which bad thing? You know, will the children be slaves or will the children starve? Who knows?
After this recording, I'm going to be downloading that demo because I want to give it a go. That's how direct I'm going with that one, how much interest I've got. I didn't know there was a demo out now. I want to now play it. So, yeah, give it a go. What about yourself? What are you going to choose next?
I'm going to not mention that one because that wasn't that great, but I do want to mention this is just because this, again, looks so weird, right? The remake of the end of the greatest RPG of all time. Award for most strange, convoluted title goes to this. And it's bizarre. So it's like the trailer seems to like, and the best bit is the trailer has these live action pieces, and when you're watching the trailer, it actually says this is part of a cutscene. Not because they don't want people to think it's like the actual developer, I guess, talking about the game. Because the whole idea of this is that these developers have found this game that they're remaking, and it's kind of like the story is to do with, I think, the struggles and the conflicts that happen for the developers. So you're playing this remake of a game that didn't exist, but in this universe it did. And yeah, all of that meta layer, love it, here for it, bring it on. That has me interested. What did you think?
It's a pass from me, thanks, Jim. It looked it showed nothing. It was a nothing burger of a trailer for me.
What are you talking about? It showed loads. It's got loads of gameplay in it.
Yes, but it's got climaxes of fights after the final blow has been dealt, where the boss explodes into pixels. They don't have how you're going to fight. Is it going to be real time? Is it going to be hack and slash? Are there going to be classes? Because it's an RPG. Typically there are classes in RPGs. Is there lots of gear? Is it one specific video game character that you're then telling these meta developer-esque characters to boss around? Like, how does that work? How the game functions wasn't explained or shown in any way. The gameplay
I'm here for the
loop.
I'm here for the style. I'm here for the style over the gameplay. It's described here as an offbeat metafictional combat puzzler. So there you go. Now you know.
That offbeat can stay offbeat my hard drive. So that's fine.
Coming in November, mid-November.
I'll definitely add that to my calendar.
It just looks super weird, and I love that. I love games that are weird. It's gonna be great. I put this on my tombstone. I love games that are weird. It's just true.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's good. What's next?
My last big standout was Monsters Are Coming: Rock and Road.
Yeah, this looks cool.
I have a soft spot for tower defense games. I love tower defense games. I remember a Java game that was a tower defense game where you had to, make little mazes of towers to get as much damage as possible, and I absolutely love the living tout of tower defense games. This looks like an interesting one. You are a city that never stops rolling. You are always moving, and you have to level up your city and level up your defences, and I'm presuming there's some level of you can recruit heroes because there was a character running around outside of your city as well. It looks interesting. I'm here for it. I want to play it.
The demo is out now.
Let me guess, on Steam?
On Steam.
Well, I'm going to be downloading a few things on Steam then.
Yeah, this looked cool. I mean, that's the problem with tower defense games is that you feel like you've played them all, right? There's so like what new can you do in a tower defense game at this point? But so
exactly.
When you see something that's a little bit interesting like this approach, I'm like, okay, that could be enough to keep it interesting and keep me engaged.
Curiosity engaged. Where are we going to go?
Yeah, I'm up for that. That looks fun. It's got a really nice art style, and yeah, the idea of designing and building your own fortress town as it rolls through an environment with loads of enemies coming out. And again, looking at the trailer, the enemy design looks fun and just about sort of twisted enough that's going to give you lots of variety and things like that. So yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, I'm also going to check that demo out. I love a tower defense game as well. They're always good fun. Next one for me was this I'd say quite an ambitious looking game, which could definitely go either way, which is The Blood of Dawnwalker. This was shown earlier this year as well, and this is another vampire game, right? Vampires are back, it would seem, in a big way. And this has got like this whole day-night cycle thing, and then there's also a 30-day kind of story-based time limit. So it's about the idea that you're a Dawnwalker, you know, so you are a vampire that can go out in the sun, and during the daytime you're just to do with swords and like magic that you can fight with, but at night you become a vampire and you can use like vampire powers. And I think that, you know, the look of the game, it's fantasy set, you know, and it looks really nice, high quality. But you have to look at this and you have to wonder slightly that, you know, is this one of those things where, you know, Rebel Wolves, the developer, have like bitten off. Have they bitten off more than they can chew? Or have they bitten off
worse
their
than
vampires?
me.
But you know, you kind of wonder, is it going to go into that sort of slightly Eurojank territory where it's, you know, ambitious, you know, interesting, but fundamentally broken type of game? So I'm hoping not.
Tries to hit 2 targets, misses both, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's got that like double A vibe, you know. It's like a really high quality indie sort of thing. It reminds me a lot of The Witcher, definitely. Like the look of it and the sword play and the third person perspective looks a lot like The Witcher 3, which is not a bad thing. And obviously with inside of, I'm guessing, looking at this Unreal Engine 5, looking at the character models, it looks really nice. Yeah, it's not out until next year. They haven't given a firm date on it, but I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this one. I think this could be a really cool fantasy action RPG with some interesting mechanics at play there, like a bit Witcher, a bit Oblivion. You know, that could be a really big time sink if it avoids the Eurojank, if it avoids that.
I like the fact that you can engage with it like Breath of the Wild, where if you want to, you can just go and do the final fight straight away. You can go and storm the castle you need to storm, and the devs say, yeah, you can do that. You're going to suck, but you can do it.
You're gonna die.
Yeah. The sword combat looks interesting. It looks reasonably well thought out and thoughtful, which I like. But one time of day definitely looks more fun than the other. Take a guess which.
Being Uber Vampire. I mean, that's the thing as well. So if I'm going to be playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, which, that's such a mouthful of a title, am I going to want another vampire action RPG? I mean, I know it's a very different setting, but like, it's just weird that you don't have, you know, that representation, all of a sudden 2 come along almost at the same time. It's so
like you're waiting
strange.
for a bus. They're bus games. You know,
it is.
You're waiting for a bus, no one comes, and then 2 come at once. So
yeah. Keep an eye on that. My last one, because I don't think you've got another one, have you? No, but my last one is BPM Bit Crushed. Now, I'm going to ask you a question here. I almost certainly know the answer. Did you play BPM?
No, of course not.
So BPM was a first-person rhythm shooter game set in like a fantasy sci-fi, sort of a bit like Doom. You know how it combines fantasy and sci-fi, kind of that kind of vibe. But it was all about on the beat to like really good music. And it looks to me with what they're doing here, BPM Bit Crushed is sort of a sequel to BPM Bullets Per Minute, but it's isometric, it's 8-bit. And it's more like action RPG, and I think that could be really good. I'm sort of surprised this didn't make your pick, because I think this looks a bit like a game you'd really dig, wouldn't it? That kind of.
I'm curious about this game quite a lot. Now, I typically will play on low volume or no volume with games, because I'm often consuming other alternative media content at the same time, because that is just the society we live in and how I consume most games. I will typically have subtitles on and I will play with low volume. This may change that. I'm not sure. It depends how engaging the game is and how much attention you have to pay. What I quite liked is the fact that this is a 2-dimensional game. It's top down. You're looking down at your character, but they've added the verticality of jumping. And they've done it without breaking the immersion of it. And I think that was very clever. And I think that is an interesting way for them to go. And I highly approve.
Okay. Yeah. It does. I mean, it does look good. I mean, I love rhythm action games. It's a genre that you don't get a huge amount of stuff in. I'm going to ask a game. Have you played Crypt of the Necrodancer or the Zelda?
I think you know the answer to that question, Ben.
So the thing for me is, like, that's probably the pinnacle of it. And one of the problems that can happen, and I do vaguely remember this with BPM, is when everything has to be done on the beat, you either can't or you get punished for doing stuff off the beat, which is this sort of like, it can be a very jarring extra level of difficulty to an experience if you're not connecting with the beat or you're not particularly in that zone. So you really do have to your point, as a second screen experience, it's not going to work because you really do have to give it your all to kind of get into that flow state with any kind of rhythm games. I like the look of this. In a way, this feels more distinct to the first-person shooter version that came out. It feels a bit more like its own beast, but it also feels like a step back. Now, maybe that's just my unfair kind of preconception, but going back to like an 8-bit art style, and it feels like it's moved backwards in their kind of like timeline of game history, which is a strange place to go. But you know, if it's fun to play, which it does look fun to play, and the music is really good in those games, I am curious to check it out. Yeah, it should be fun. But so that was all of our, I think, games picks from Cologne this year. You said you didn't watch any of it. I watched Opening Night Live, the whole thing, but then I didn't watch Future Game Show. I just looked up all the trailers. It's a strange show. It was kind of a weird one this year because it didn't feel particularly Eurocentric. Like in previous years, they've got like the farming simulator games in there and stuff like that because they're huge in Germany and things like that. But yeah, it's games are in a weird place. And do you know what's really weird for me, Rob, is that just in spite of myself, I'm really looking forward to Borderlands 4.
Yep, so am I. I'm very hyped for Borderlands 4. I intend on purchasing Borderlands 4 because I love the Borderlands game, hate Gearbox's CEO.
Yes, that's fair. How much have you seen about 4?
I've seen enough to know that I want it. I wanted it as soon as it was announced, in fairness, so I'm a little bit biased. But the Siren-esque character, her gameplay loop looks fantastic. I have a thing for scythes in game. She can wield a scythe of spectral power, so I'm there. You know, like, she ticks the boxes that I want from a gameplay loop on the first look. But I will inevitably end up doing a playthrough with all 4 characters, because that's what I do on basically every Borderlands game ever.
Wow. So yeah, maybe I should get Borderlands and we should play some Borderlands together. Co-op.
Yeah, I'd be down for
Because
that.
Borderlands is always good in co-op. Like, that's always one of the best things to do in Borderlands. So yeah, new world, more diverse biomes. I really like what they're doing with the character leveling stuff. I really like what they're doing with the loot variety and how the loot is how oranges are gonna be proper rare, and you're gonna be like pumped when you see an orange, and it's not gonna be showering you in them, which I think is a really cool idea. And yeah, what you want with an orange is like you look at it and you go, right, how can I change my build to get the most out of this weapon? Yep. That's what you want from a game like that. I need to take 10 minutes to think about how I'm going to respec, right? So that's how they should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What build is this class item pushing me towards, or this shield pushing me towards? What can I do?
Yeah. So I'm getting a bit hyped for it. And talking about the other game I'm getting hyped for is Helldivers on Xbox, which I'm considering buying again, even though I've already bought it on PlayStation.
I never bought it on PlayStation, so I'm curious to understand more about how Helldivers functions to know if I'm going to like it or not.
Awesome. It's so good, Rob. So, yeah. It's so good. It's just hard as nails, and you have to work in proper tandem with your squad and friendly fire, and yeah, it's really good.
It strikes me from what I've seen of Helldivers that we're getting distracted and going on a side quest, but whatever.
No, we're talking about future games. With
Helldivers, although I've watched the narrative expand on the PlayStation servers, is that what the community's done and go, okay, well, you've dealt with a galaxy incursion that way, but now some sort of robots have appeared and you're dealing with that, and it looks almost community driven over a storyline rather than you have 10 missions or 10 drop zones you can go into, and there are generic enemies to go and have fun with. It looks like there was actual change that happens, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, when I was really engaging with it on PlayStation when it first came out, like, it was great because their community manager was actively like engaging with the players on like Reddit and stuff, and then every week there'd be like a new challenge, and he would be judging what that challenge should be based on things like what people wanted and based on things like what the player count was at the time. So they were constantly adjusting the goals and the meta so that it was as sort of engaging and fun to do. You don't want to be too easy, you don't want to be too hard, that kind of stuff. And it was really active. Like Arrowhead were really actively engaging with their players in ways, you look back at Destiny back in the day, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember when they used to do that. That kind of thing.
I don't want to talk about Destiny and the garbage fire they've got going on at the moment. So yeah, it's not going well for Destiny.
We did that last time. We deep dived into Destiny for over an hour. That was an epic chat we had on that. But yeah, lots of interesting different games. Links of which will be in the show notes. By all means, check out the trailers. But I think that brings us to the end of Games Chat for this particular episode. We will be back with some more shortly. So, there is some great TV coming out right now. Like, it's really good. It's really good on TV, Rob. You don't watch TV, do you?
I don't watch as much TV as I would like to. It's more the fact the watch list keeps on growing and I can't get through it fast enough because of that pesky thing called work.
Damn it! Yes, yeah. I know the feeling. Like, I could go on about, there's Foundation, there's Star Trek, there's loads of great ones, but we've, one of the new ones that started recently I want to touch on right now, which is Alien Earth. Rob, OMGeezel. Alien Earth.
Jeezel, wow.
Yeah.
I want to watch this. It is on my watch list. I just have not had the time.
It is so interesting. It's got amazing production value. It's got great acting, great performances. But for me, it's just a really creative, original approach to the Alien universe. Obviously, a lot of our exposure to Alien has been through Ripley, right, over the years, though not exclusively. And then we've had a little bit with Alien Romulus, which had some new character stuff, but it felt very much like a nostalgia fest. I like it, but it was a fun movie, but it didn't feel like it really brought much new to the table. This feels like the first time we've really expanded the universe in an interesting, creative, new perspective. And bringing Alien to Earth, right, which is in the title, they do that, but it's not just a xenomorph, it's all kinds of crazy shit. But then also exploring what it is to be human, the difference between humans, synthetics, and cyborgs. Right, so we've got lots and lots going on in here. Only 3 episodes out so far, but they've all been bangers, like brilliant. I'm very conscious that I don't want to spoil anything for you, or our listeners.
The internet will do that for me.
I will say, there's a group of synthetics in the show called The Lost Boys. The main character is called Wendy in this. So, there is some really strong Peter Pan connections. And also Ice Age connections.
Yes, I've heard that there is an interesting, I'm going to say cameo. A character you would not expect.
It's weird. Yeah. It's like I said, it's totally, it's such an original swing at the universe. And yet, oh my God, the horror. Proper body horror, scary shit happens in this show, especially in the first 2 episodes. There is a bit with a cat. And you're like, oh, this cat did not fare as well as Jonesy. Oh no.
But I like cats. You're
so
making
do
me
I.
want to watch it less.
Well, Leah couldn't watch. My lovely wife, who loves cats, she had to turn away, and I had to tell her when she could look again.
Oh dear.
So yeah, it was extreme. Yeah, it was a thing.
Cool.
What else can I tell you without spoiling it? It's cool to see. All right, so we're actually now not just looking at Weyland and Yutani. We get to explore the other kind of corporate entities of Earth, where Earth is no longer, countries, nation states. It's all corporate owned and controlled.
Apple,
and so
Amazon.
Yeah. Well, this one is all set on this kind of like Thailand-esque island called New Siam, which is this big city owned and operated by one of the corporations called Prodigy, run by this guy called Boy Cavalier or the Boy Genius. So he's this like really young trillionaire, super intellect, and he is not. If you compare and contrast to we were talking about earlier to the obvious kind of tech bro kind of vocation of Luther, he is not the obvious take on Tech Bro. He's something different, and it's, you know, you want to hate him, right? You want to hate him because you know he's the head of this morally ambiguous corporation, but he's written in a way and performed in a way where he has sympathetic elements. He's clearly someone dealing with his own shit, and you do relate. You do understand, you sort of, you know, humanize him in a way that makes him a character that you don't vilify immediately. I'm sure, let's be real, he's probably going to do some villainous things that are more overt as the show goes on, but there's enough depth.
Is that how we come to accept his dumbass decisions, like let's bring the xenomorph and other fun stuff to Earth?
Not his call.
Okay.
That's Wayland Yutani's call.
Right, of course. Why did they think to bring a living xenomorph to Earth? Idiots. But I'm guessing that's the point of the show. You're meant to watch and see.
Yeah, there's more to it than that. It's not a planned landing. So it crashed. The Wayland Yutani ship is like a deep space exploration vessel, science research ship, and it crash lands in New Siam, the Prodigy city. So you have this kind of rising tensions as well between the corporate entities because of that. So yeah, it's really cool. There's lots of bits, right, that have been hinted at but never explored before in the Alien universe, and they have been touched on more in the comics and the books, but we've never seen them on screen before. And I'm loving that. I'm here for that. Yeah. Like, we're getting, like, you know, you got like proto Space Marines, like early versions of them and stuff, because it is a prequel. So that's something to consider, right? This is set before the Nostromos meets and interacts with the Xenomorph. So how are we going to fit this into that universe? Because we've had a Xeno and others arrive on Earth prior to that. So I'm really interested and very curious to see how all of that works out. Because it's not going to be just a case of, you know, the creator hasn't thought of that, right? This guy knows what he's doing when it comes to dealing with, you know, IP and property. The showrunner, Noah Hawley. He's also like the creator, and he's the lead writer and all of that. He also did the Fargo TV series. So that's a series also set in an existing IP from a movie, right? By the Coen brothers. Very famous movie, really, really good film. But his TV show fits well enough without standing on or ruining that existing IP, and actually creates its own thing and does a really good job in itself. So that's why it's really interesting to see him behind this property. I have faith that he is going to do it justice. And so far, it's really original. It's really interesting. The performances are fantastic. And you've just got to watch it.
Okay. I do really want to. Like I say, it's just finding the time. So yeah, it's definitely top of my watch list of something new now. And
it is scary. Like, that's hard to pull off in TV, I think.
Yeah.
Actually scary stuff. And it works. They do it. And there's badass stuff, and there's great action, and there's... The end of that third episode is like, oh, damn. Oh, damn. Playing with fire, as they always do. It's out. It's coming out weekly at the moment. I think it's on Disney Plus, and it's fab. Yeah, watch Alien Earth, everybody.
Before we move on to the next show that you have on the show notes, I do have a question for you.
Yes.
Did you ever finish watching Department Q?
No.
You probably should, because season 2 has been confirmed now.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't gone back to it. I only watched the first episode.
No. It's definitely worth following through and finishing off, because we're getting a season 2. That was just news that I had come across in the week and meant to ask you about, and then I remembered.
Now you've made me think of another random TV show I watched for the first time this week, kind of in the vein of Department Q in the terms of it's a mystery kind of thing. God. I bet you'd recognise Mark Gatiss, but you probably don't know who that name is when I just say it. But he's a bit of a British institution, actor, writer, creator, fantastic talent. Do you know Mark Gatiss? Or Mark Gatiss?
The name is painfully familiar, and I can't place him off. Oh, Mycroft.
Yes. So he's got a new show on You and something, one of the You and channels. I think it's You and Alibi or something like that. And it's called Bookish, and it's set after World War II, just post-war, like 46, 47. And he's basically a guy that owns a bookshop, but he's also basically Sherlock Holmes. So he's just charming the crap out of everything. He's so watchable. It's really, really well written because he's writing it. And it's like, if you like mystery stuff, like period stuff like that, you know, really smart people being smart, solving tricky mysteries and things like that. If you enjoy that kind of show, Bookish is well worth checking out. Like, really, I think you'd really enjoy it. Actually, it's really good. Yeah, and he is just 110%. How can I be Sherlock Holmes without doing another Sherlock Holmes adaptation? I know, we'll do this, and it's brilliant. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm interested in that one.
And now I'm going to talk about a show that has no right to be as good as it is. Like, none. No right. And that is Twisted Metal, currently out on Peacock. I think it's Peacock or Paramount Plus. No, it's Paramount Plus, I think, actually, now I think about it. So this stars Anthony Mackie and Stephanie Beatrice. Do you remember Stephanie Beatrice? Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
I do indeed, yes.
Couldn't be a more different performance than Rosa, to be clear. But like, super charming, both her and Anthony Mackie in this. This show is so funny. Like, it's terrible, but it's brilliant. It's super violent, super gory, super funny. It's so cartoonish. It's like watching a live-action Looney Tunes episode, basically. It's so over the top, and it's based on the most random video game IP ever, Twisted Metal, which was basically a vehicle combat games from the early PlayStation era. So think Destruction Derby, but, you know, machine guns and rocket launchers and over-the-top characters as well. So you'd basically, in Twisted Metal, you drive around in cars or various vehicles, and you'd attack each other and blow each other up and try and survive. And that was the concept. And that, to be fair, is also the TV show. Like, the first season did a lot to establish the world. And now in the second season, we actually have the Twisted Metal tournament happening, in which these over-the-top characters are fighting each other in car combat. And that somehow works because they've done this thing where they've thrown the characters together. So when they're not fighting each other, they're also staying in a kind of like post-apocalyptic high school. So you have these like crazy character mashup setups where you've got Sweet Tooth, the psychotic clown whose hair is sometimes on fire, hanging out with a normal human guy, or hanging out with a guy with metal arms who drives a vehicle that's just two giant wheels and has machine guns attached to the bottom. Like, it's somehow works. I don't know how it does. And I think the thing that holds it together is Anthony Mackie and Stephanie Beatrice. Without their charismatic grounding to their kind of like an on and on again, off again romance thing. And they're just so fun together. And they're clearly having an absolute ball. Like, everyone in this is just enjoying themselves so much. I mean, Sweet Tooth is two people, right? So physically, he's performed by professional wrestler Samoa Joe. So he's this giant hulking beast of a man, but he's voiced by the incredible Will Arnett. So he just gives, again, a side-splittingly psychotic performance. Like, he is so over the top, funny, disgusting, perverse, awful, degenerate. But then it's like putting these like cartoon characters up against real people is where the comedy comes from, because the real people will literally call them out and be like, what the fuck? There's this guy in this, I think his name in season 2 is like, I forget his character's name, but he's got this thing where he can like suck people's souls after killing them. A very, 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 very video game kind of mechanic, right?
Yeah.
But no, he only thinks he's doing that because he's disturbed. He's not actually doing it. So there's a scene where he's like sucking the soul. He's like, oh, your soul is mine. Join my brothers. And it's like, you can see all the soul coming out. And then it cuts to the POV of like two regular people and they're like, looking at him and he's just going, like that. And he's doing nothing. He's just being mad and insane. And they're like, I guess we should stay away from that guy. Yeah, let's stay away from that guy. And it's just
avoid.
And it's just like, that's the thing about the humour. It's quite meta. It knows exactly what it's doing, and it's always willing to reflect, to show how silly and stupid and over the top it is. And I think that's how it gets away with it. If it just played it straight, that this is real and that you know this is normal, it wouldn't work. But it's so knowing. It's kind of got that. It's like a bit Deadpool-y, I guess, in that regard. They don't actually talk to the viewer, but it knows it's over the top and ridiculous and batshit mad, right? And it's so much fun. And the episodes are like no more than like 30, 35 minutes. They vary a bit because it's streaming, but they keep it tight. They move
Okay.
move along, you know, and each episode in this season has been a bit more structured around the tournament. Like there's another challenge to this episode, there's another thing, there's another type of game they've got to go through. You know, it's a bit Squid Gamey actually in that regard,
Interesting.
which I think people would enjoy because of that. The first season, like I said, is much more about establishing the world, but it still has a lot of this humor. I think it was trying to be a bit more serious, like in its storytelling. This season though, it's just leaned in so hard into how ridiculous the idea of this crazy tournament of people getting together to kill each other is, like in this post-apocalyptic nightmarescape. It's really hard to describe and convey how good it is, because everything about it makes it sound kind of shit, but like it is more than the sum of its parts. It rises above its kind of hokiness. I honestly think, and you know, you'd struggle, like if you're into gaming and comics and movies like we are, any of like those types of people, you would struggle not to enjoy this, because it is so a part of all of that, and it knows that. I mean, Anthony Mackie's character is actually I believe he's not a character from the games. He's kind of like a cipher. He's a bit of an amalgam. He's a bit of an avatar for us as a way in. But he's also a massive nerd. Like, he's so nerdy, and he's into, like, you know, reading the comics and like all that kind of crap. He's basically like a child that never grew up because of when society ended. So his interests are still what he was into when he was 12 or 14. Yeah. So it's like, it's really, he's really good in it. He's so charming in this. And yeah, Stephanie Beatriz, it turns out her character in this is a lot more closer to who she is in reality than Rosa was. Rosa is not the actress at all. She's really silly and geeky and fun and stuff. And yeah, it's just brilliantly good fun. Like, and you were talking about representation, really good representation, as well as lots of gender fluidity in here, lots of different types of no judgment, lots of different types of sexual kind of orientations, and you know, they've got a lot of freedom to play with that, because we're in a post-society in which none of that matters. Like, you're like living day by day, just trying to survive. Who gives a fuck if those two guys are together or they're in a throuple or whatever, right? It's really kind of interesting how fast and loose they play with all that. So it feels really modern in that way. But it's just super fun. It's just super, super fun, honestly. If you've got Peacock, I need to find out what it's actually on. I keep forgetting. There's too many of these streaming services. Where is it?
You said Paramount Plus earlier, I believe.
It's Paramount or Peacock. Oh, so I think it's Peacock in the US, but it might be Paramount Plus in the UK.
I see.
That's why I'm getting confused, I think. Yeah.
So technically, you were right. It's both.
It's both. Yeah. Yeah. I'll go with that. I was right. I like that. I like the sound of that, Rob. Let's go with Ben was right. So yeah, Twisted Metal's like one of the sleeper hits of the last couple of years. Honestly.
Looks like I'll have to get a Peacock or Paramount Plus subscription then.
I think you'd enjoy it. Right. Have you got any other TV you want to throw out there, Rob?
No.
So that's the end of TV. All right. Back in a minute. Okay, well that was an episode of 8 Dead Giants. I hope everybody's enjoyed that. Rob, have you had fun today?
Of course, it was a wonderful time to record.
It sounded a little bit like contractually obliged to say that, Tex, but that's fine.
Is my contract fulfilled? Is my contract fulfilled? No, it's been wonderful being able to catch up and talk through the content that we went through today. Yeah, it's always fun recording an episode.
Yes, your freedom has been granted. You now may leave. No. Unfortunately, you broke clause 3, paragraph C, so you're going to have to come back next week. And for the rest of your life.
I'm
wow. Sorry about that.
Oh no, so sad.
Indentured giant. That's what we will call you from now on. Indentured giant.
Indentured giant.
So, what should I plug? I'm going to talk about where you can find us, right? We do have, so the easiest thing, right? One thing to remember, if you want to subscribe to us, find our podcast links, find our YouTube links, our social links, just go to 8deadgiants.com. They're all there. that will point you in the direction of whatever you want to do. Enjoy a very orange and very blue little website that I've constructed there for you to like get all that information and find your way to all of our links. Rob, I know you've got a few irons in the fire, but right now you're keeping them on the DL, correct?
It's more of the fact that I don't have enough time in the day to fire all the irons that I want to fire and still sleep. So that is a very orange website.
I wasn't lying. I like to make websites eye-catching, Rob. That's what I do.
It's definitely something. Bright and vibrant, I believe, are the key words to use.
Yeah, trying to reflect my personality. Everybody always says I'm bright and vibrant. Not grumpy. Nobody ever says I'm grumpy.
Never,
bright
never.
And vibrant. Yes, that's the words. So yeah, enjoy. Go to their website, Rob. Maybe in the future you'll plug something. We will look forward to that. But until then, it's been an excellent episode. I've loved having you as always, mate. Look forward to next time. But that's the end. So, bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.